Hi everyone and welcome to Now I See on CYC. I'm Anna Choi. Today I have a special guest with me. I'll be continuing with Debbie's story. Welcome back, Debbie.
Thank you, Anna.
So you were in the previous episode you were talking a bit about Exodus and you're wearing the Exodus youth shirt.
The uniform?
Yep, uniform.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit more about Exodus.
Okay, we're in uniform because pretty much we're serving 24/7 now.
Yep.
So some 12 years ago, it was a very humble service. Having returned back from Africa with a bunch of guys, they said, let's start concentrating on some of the youth that had disengaged with church life. So they didn't go to the parishes anymore, they didn't go to the communion anymore, and they just weren't going to church. They were meeting in a park in Tempe, about 5 of them. So one night at 8:30, it was winter time, we met with them and we continued to meet with them every week. And 5 became 10, became 20, became 30, became 40. At that time, His Grace Bishop Daniel was appointed to Sydney and he joined us one night in the park. We stayed 2 years in that park and we soon realized really fast that we couldn't just say God bless you and leave. So we'd be there till about 1 o'clock in the morning. Those young people had issues, and the issue may be that there was problems at home, there were problems of addiction, there were problems of mental illness, there were problems of social issues. They had lost their way. They were Australian, but they were still part of an Egyptian family, but they didn't speak Arabic and they didn't get the church, and it just went on and on. So after 2 years, we found an office that we rented in Ramsgate. And now 12 years on, we have an office in Rockdale, quite a large office. An office in Granville, which is a big drop-in centre, a warehouse, and we have an office in Blacktown. And we have, at the moment, one group home or refuge. So that refuge is a place where we can accommodate emergency housing, short-term or long-term, with young people that can't live at home for whatever reason. So in a period of 12 years, it went from a park to a full non-for-profit organisation that is tax deductible if people give donations. And we have currently around, I have to think, but 3 full-time employees. So we have youth caseworkers, youth workers, social workers, counsellors, and then we have some part-time young people that work with us.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you do any events for the youth to gather together and congregate?
So in this industry, in youth work, you're talking about programs, and programs are established and created so that young people can connect with an organisation, and from that program, the issues that they have or the casework or the mentoring takes place from those meetings. So we currently have approximately 16 to 18 running programs. They may come in the form of poetry, a poetry slam, which is once a month, and that's done at our warehouse in Granville. So we might have up to 100 people in that room of a night.
Wow.
With young people reciting magnificent poetry. Not only the blessing that's happened in Exodus, we targeted Coptic youth only initially, but with those Coptic youth that had disengaged with parish life came their friends. And those friends might be Australian or Greek.
And they also wanted to be part of this amazing environment. And
it's a real community.
Yeah.
And it's a very safe place. It's a place of acceptance, and we're very blessed to have great people working there and serving with us. We have a bank of volunteers, up to about 20 or 30, which takes that to run 7 days a week, 24 hours. So now Exodus is in the area of full-blown mission to the Coptic youth and the Australian community. So I'll tell you a quick story that happened because of some of the programs out west. We had a young guy come in who was 13. He's born here, but his family are from Afghanistan. And through the programs of Exodus, he came through DOCS or FACS, the government agency that looks after young people. He was given to us to fully accommodate, educate, and look after. He's been with us now for a year. And when His Grace Bishop Agason was here recently, this young man asked for baptism.
Wow.
Yes, and this is the grace of God. This is the work of God.
I assume that he's from a
non-Christian family.
yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And this is mission. This is just living and absorbing Christ's light organically through the people around you. We are family. We have kinship there, and it just happens. And it's really exciting to see the hand of God working in the lives of so many people. Someone struggling with addiction, someone struggling from domestic violence or, mental illness, and you need the service running 24/7 so that they are surrounded all the time with family, and you see them slowly awakening.
So what do you mean by 24/7? Like the warehouses are open 24/7 for them?
Pretty much.
For when they are in need, they can come in?
Yep.
And there'll always be a social worker or caseworker?
Yeah, we're on call all the time.
Okay.
And one office can be open pretty much any time. If someone gets into trouble with the police or they're arrested, we're called, and then we advocate at the police station or in court for that person, and we will stand by that person until things either settle or they may be sentenced, and then we will continue serving them in jail or until they're out of jail and then they need work again. So people think that Exodus just works with drug addiction. Very small part.
Yeah.
All the programs work for certain areas. So, it might be depression, or it might be a family breakdown. It might be abuse. It might be that you're just lonely. It might be that your family were never involved with the Coptic church.
Yeah.
So you're Coptic by name, but your family never went.
Yeah.
And so where are those people? We try and find them. We try and call them in. They chose the name Exodus because they said that at the time the young people were out in the wilderness.
Yeah.
And so they were trying to find their way home. They were in the dark, hence all the black. So some people are in the wilderness for a long time, sometimes 40 years.
And in terms of how, you get them back on their feet, and do they request that, maybe I want to go to church, or do you guys fit Bible study in there somewhere? Or, so it's spiritual as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All the programs are holistic.
Yep.
Christ is omnipresent. Yep. So he's there at the gym, and he's there when you eat.
You have a gym as well?
No, but we have a partnership with a gym. So often it takes a holistic service to bring a person back to a place of wellness. And so, we have Bible studies. They're not compulsory.
Yeah.
What happens is it happens organically.
Yeah.
That we treat you and we serve you and we wash your feet until the time comes that you say, what is it that you have? Which was my journey. What do you have that I don't have and I want?
Yeah.
And then it's the reality, it's Christ.
Yeah.
And that's, people come into the light and they return to the light through that. Sometimes it's short journey, sometimes it's a very long journey, and along that journey there are a lot of relapses. So they come in and then they go out, and then they come in and then they go out. We just journey with them until they're ready to know more. Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So it's really it's fascinating.
How
work.
do you get them back? So once they've accepted Christ again, or accepted Christ, how do you get them going to church, or how do you get them in getting accepted in church because people, they might be scared that people might judge them for any reason.
And that's true, it happens. Over the years, we tried many ways, and we would get people back in the church, and then because of their tattoos or because of the way they look, or they don't
look like they were used to, their skin's changed, everything.
And then they get hurt again, and then you've got second trauma now. So, and here's the beauty and the desire of God to find his people. We are very blessed. His Grace Bishop Daniel, who supports us and works with us and walks with us and endures us. Currently we have the Church of Saint Carolus and Saint Habib Gurgis, Ramsgate, praying in Exodus. Our warehouse is in Rockdale. So they were out in the cold. They didn't have a church building. So now we've come together in a partnership, and they hold their liturgies in Exodus. So we are the body of Christ. We are the Church of Christ. Exodus is not a youth meeting. It's not a church. We're not sacramental. We're not liturgical. The church is there for that. So Exodus is like a net, and we go fishing, and we hold those fish in that net. And it is the service of the church to now reach in and call the fish back, fishermen calling them back. So we'll hold that, and we'll take that. I mean, we're all servants. So we attend church, and they come with us. And, you know, recently with the martyrdom of the 21 martyrs in Libya, there was a ceremony at my parish. And I said to them, hey, this is what happened. Would you like to come to our guys? Would you like to come with us? And, you know, let's celebrate this magnificent event, because it's turning people back to prayer and to church.
And
they came
to witness that as well.
Yes, and they came with us, and they were very much touched by 21 young lives, all the way in Libya. It reached the hearts of. There was a young guy who's a Zimbabwean with us. The Afghani guy was with us. Mixed marriage kids that are a part of Exodus, and they were brought back home through the story and the blood of these martyrs. And so we are the church is with us, God is with us. And so they are reconnected to Christ through sitting and eating around a table.
With you guys,
because they don't have a home to go to. Some of them don't. So we sit and eat as a family. And one of them one day said, they're not from a Christian family, are we going to pray before we eat? And of course we said, yeah. Would you like to eat? Would you like to pray? And he said, yes. And the prayer was very simple, because he hadn't been taught to pray. But he said, dear God, thank you for this place and for this food. I don't know, Saint John Chrysostom refers to outreach as the spine of the church. So if you want to if you personally want to know Christ, go and serve. Go and serve his people, because right there you'll know that you can't do anything and that you're totally helpless, and then you will call on Christ and he will be there, and you will witness the change in people's lives. Right there, right now, that's Christ.
How can we prevent our kids from losing their way?
The ultimate question, if we could answer that so simply. Who can answer that? My goodness. God desires that we lose no one, and he will search for that one lost sheep. Unconditional love. So we are his children, and he loves us unconditionally, and his desire is not to lose us. So as a parent, I must reflect that same spirit of unconditional love. Your kids will make mistakes. They will have trouble staying sometimes in the embrace of parish life. Love them unconditionally. If we ever start judging them, or if we ever think less of them, we will lose them. So unconditional love is probably the easiest answer. Be with them as they walk and as they sleep and as they go out, and be be there for them when they need you. And the church should be a place of, there's the story of the church being a hospital.
Hospital for the broken, yeah.
For the wounded. We are all wounded. All of us are wounded. So my woundedness may not look like your woundedness. My scar or my wound doesn't look like yours, but we are all wounded. And once we come to that realization, then it's the hospital. And so everything should be open. Exactly the story of the prodigal son. The prodigal son returns. He makes the effort to come home. The father embraces him in the mud of the pigs. He doesn't say, go away and have a shower and come and see me. He says, no, I'm watching for you and I will meet you halfway. I'll be there and I'll embrace you and I will put the clean coat on you. I will give you the ring of royalty. We have to have this spirit. We have to be watching at the fence and waiting to embrace those that return unconditionally. However they look, however wounded they are, we are there at the fence waiting. And so if we prepare ourselves with an understanding of woundedness to start with, then we will care for them and look after them.
And when we do lose them, how do we get them back?
Yes, another good question. We search for them. There's enough servants in our church to care for the 99 that we leave behind. And we need a team of rescuers to go
look for the one
out, to go into the wilderness. And, over the years they adapted this uniform. It's red and it's white and it's black. The majority of it is black because those we serve are in darkness. There is a light, even the smallest of light. There is always hope. And so that spirit of hope can light at the darkest of areas. And it's through the blood of Christ that will lead us and bring us home. And so hope, the message of hope. There's nothing you could ever do to make God love you less. And we have to do the same.
I agree.
Yes.
How can we contact you with the Exodus? Are you guys on Facebook?
Got everything.
Or do you have a website?
Yes. Exodus Youth Works, and works is with an X. So it's got a cross at the end.
.com.
So .org.au. And of course, if you just put Exodus Youth Works into Facebook or Instagram, we've got all those things.
Yeah.
We're very, very diligent with all those medias. So exodusyouthworks.org.au, and Facebook is Exodus Youth Works, and the rest is all there.
Great. Well, thank you so much for coming in today. Thank you so much, because we loved hearing your touching and inspirational
Thank you
story.
for the opportunity.
Please tune into our next episode of Now I See for a brand new guest. Until then, God bless.